Welcome to YOUCANIC. So today we have a 2019 Kia Forte. We're going to go over how you replace the rear brakes and rotor on your Kia Forte. So to start with, let's do our best to try to undo this. These little set screws, they hold the rotor to the bearing there, the housing. Sometimes they're a pain. Being that you've got studs on, you could just drill it out. But if we can keep them, we'll keep them. All right. Then, next we have two 14s here that are the carrier bolts that need to be loosened. Or not the carrier, they're the... They hold the caliper to the carrier. You want to also make sure you don't want the e-brake on when you do this. We're going to pull that e-brake cable off. If you take both bolts out, you should be able to just kind of pull the whole thing out like that. And we can just let it sit there because we've got the e-brake holding it there. And we've got two little clips here. And then we've got two more 14s to loosen and remove, to be able to remove this whole thing so that we can get the rotor off itself. And then these, you can just squeeze them to the middle and they'll pop right off. And then just clean up everything. Just use a wire brush. Generally, these new clips come with, sometimes come with your brakes, depending on which package you buy, and sometimes they don't. So we just clean most of the dust off that we can very easily. And then, I think we want to get this rotor off. It always needs a bit of a persuasion. We get too much rust and corrosion in the middle there. Crazy. And so that's the removal of the rotor and the brake caliper. Now, one thing with this, we'll come back and I'll show you, but being it's got these two indents in here, it generally signifies that you need to rotate this to spin it back. You can't just push it back like you can on the front caliper. The rear calipers on a lot of newer vehicles, you have to spin this back, and so you need a tool to do that with. So to push this caliper back, you need to have a special tool. You don't have to have this exact one, there's more than one, but what you need to do is you need to spin this caliper back. You can't just press it back like you can the front caliper. You have to spin this back because of the automatic setting emergency brake. So once you get your tool and the right size die in there, then you can literally just spin this and it will spin the caliper in the reverse way. You also still need to, as you spin in, you're going to have to adjust to tighten this a little bit. There we go. So you spin it as far back as you need to put your new brakes on, and just keep spinning it back. It'll stop when it gets to the bottom, and then you'll have to, you know, pump the brakes and the e-brake to get it to set back out. Looks good. Okay, so we've got that pressed back. We've gone ahead and on this carrier with the guide pins, I've cleaned these out, cleaned the grease off, and put new grease in it. Now we're ready to put it back on the vehicle after we put the brake rotor. So we've got our brake rotor. You want to put it on so that your holes line back up with the to put those set screws in. There. All right, set screws are on. Then we can bolt this back on. So you're going to see the brake pad with the two dots. That's going to go on the outside, so towards you. And the one with this little center dot, that's going to go on the side with the caliper. And as that sets around, that's going to sit in there, and as the adjustments go out. We've got our two size, well, they're all 14s, but we got the longer ones that are going to go through to hold the carrier portion on. I also got these little clips. These just help keep the brake off. When it's all been released. There we go. Now, put the two bolts that hold the caliper to the carrier in and tighten them up. Sometimes these spin and you'll have to put another wrench on the outside. These are holding pretty good. So that's how you would replace your rear brakes and rotor on your 2019 Kia Forte. Then put the tire on, put your car back down on the ground, and tighten the lug nuts to torque. Thanks for watching YOUCANIC, where you can be the mechanic.